The next question I wanted to talk about was the paradox of how God can be beyond time, and yet at the same time we can have free will. And to some extent, I guess we could just say, that's just the way he made it, and we can accept that as a principle of faith. But then it does provoke some questions when you read the Torah, which is, number one, God seems to have, as we were discussing in a previous question, a clear level of vulnerability and emotional response to human beings' behavior in relationship to his world and relationship to him. If he knows what's coming, why is he getting so worked up about it when it happens? If I know everything that someone's going to do in the future, so to speak, where is the emotional kind of feeling of vulnerability, anticipation, all that kind of stuff, if it's all already seen? And also, when God talks about, as well in the Torah, like when Abraham, after he's prepared to sacrifice Isaac, he says, "Now I know that you're God-fearing." What does that mean? Now I know. I mean, he presumably knew beforehand. So I just wondered what your perspective was on this question of how we can interact with a God who and understand his relationship with his world when he's sort of seen it all.
So let's make the question clear, because it's not always. Exactly what is the question? If he knows what's going to happen, why does he act surprised? Is that the question?
Yeah. Or not necessarily act, but he seems to be. This is what the Torah says. I'm not going to question what he says.
But that is the question. The question, you knew, so why are you getting upset? Why are you getting excited? Right? And the same question would be, why is he so pleased when we do something right? You knew it was going to happen. What are you so excited about? So the simple answer is, the fact that I know that my child is going to succeed doesn't mean that at his graduation I'm not going to be thrilled. Because what I expected, what I predicted, what I knew was going to happen has now happened. That's an occasion for joy.
There's a difference between predicted and knew.
Even if I knew for sure. First of all, what I knew has now become fact. That itself is, for myself, a pleasant. But the fact that my son is now on the same page, now he knows too. So you've taken it from the realm of thought and you've brought it into the realm of action. Like any other, you have a vision of how you want to build your house, and you know exactly where every piece is going to go, where the door is going to be, where the windows are going to be, where the fireplace is going to be. So why are you so pleased once it gets done? Because it went from a blueprint to a house you can walk into. So that's the simple.
Yeah.
The other thing is, concerning Avraham, the word is ato yodati. It's da'as. Da'as doesn't mean I know. It means now we are connected on a level that we were not connected on before. Like it says about Adam and Chava. Adam knew his wife and she conceived. So what did he know? He really got to know her. The word da'as means merging, joining, connecting. When Avraham was ready to sacrifice his son, the connection to God was on a whole new level. Because until then, Avraham was connecting to God through his kindness, generosity, obedience. Now he was asked to do something that goes against his personality, against his character, against all human instinct. When he was ready to do that, God said, wow, we have reached a level of connectedness that I knew it would happen, but it happened. So you got to be really particular with the words in the Torah.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense, because it sounds so static when you think about, well, God knows everything you're going to do. Yeah, but it still hasn't happened yet. And the point is, it's, as you say, the difference between blueprint versus reality. I think that's a very helpful way of looking at it.
Well, especially when it comes to love. I know you're going to love me. So when you do, it's not exciting? Oh, yeah, I know, yeah. A wife says, I love you. He says, I know.
But does that mean that God is, so to speak, living in the moment of time that humanity is as well then? Because
that's exactly right.
He's not meandering between past and future. He's in the present with us.
Yeah, because what we're experiencing is the whole purpose of creation. So the purpose of creation is not his experience, because he has it all already. But when we experience it, now he's excited.
Oh.
And that's the idea of merging with him, becoming one. He knows, he has it, he's already there. To him, Mashiach has already come. But what good is that? He wants us to experience Mashiach. And when we do, we will be on the same page. We'll be sharing another intimate connection. But that's what it means, that God came down to Mount Sinai. It's like saying, I've had these mitzvahs forever, but now I'm giving them to you. The ultimate mitzvah now, before the coming of Mashiach, is the mitzvah to get to know him. There's a pirush on the first words of the Torah. Bereshis bara Elokim. The word bara means, we call it create. We translate it as create. It also means reveal, make clear, make known. So Bereshis bara Elokim. In the beginning, God became known, revealed. That was the whole purpose of the whole thing right from the start. That God should be as clear as day. Like the expression, bara kachamo, as clear as sunshine. So bara Elokim is a little bit of a mystery. Bara Elokim means reveal the secret. So Bereshis, what is the first thing? Bara Elokim, reveal God. He doesn't want to be mysterious. He wants to be known. So all the talk about God being unknowable, unreachable, mysterious, That's not Jewish. That's Aristotle or something. I don't know. Jewish is, he's my God. I know him. I hear him. And I'm partnering with him. You can't do that with a God who is unreachable, unknowable, and untouchable.
And if he had all these mitzvot, which seemed to be all about this world, if he was, keeping all of them, they were him before he created the world. How do we make sense of that? I get, also there's the Jewish people's relationship with him. If the mitzvot were forever, but the Jewish people weren't and the world weren't, why would they be? I'm not quite sure what the right words to formulate this question of, like, what relevance do they have in God's world, so to speak? Does that make sense? Before we're even there.
Well, going back to Mr. Fry, if you would start at the beginning, the picture might look different. He's starting with the fact that a baby was born with cancer. Well, what kind of reaction can we expect? His reaction is very appropriate. A baby born with cancer. Outrageous. Horrible. But is that where it begins? That's the beginning of life, as a baby with cancer? So start at the beginning. There were no babies, none. And there was no reason other than God's vulnerability. So start with the beginning. In the beginning, God created the whole world. What's your reaction to that? Horrible? Now, in this magnificent creation, where life is so meaningful and precious, there are these anomalies, these exceptions that are horrific. So yes, you got to ask the question. If you're vulnerable enough and sensitive enough to create the whole universe and give life to people, why are there times when it seems like you're giving death to people? Good question. But don't paint the world as if it's just a bunch of babies with cancer. Because if that's your picture of the world, then what's the difference whether there is or there isn't a God? Life stinks, quit. So as much as we object to death and suffering, we have to celebrate and enjoy life even more. So in the beginning, God wants to be known, not hidden. So what Fry is doing is actually demanding more knowledge of God. If you're God, why are you doing this? Explain yourself. Make yourself known to me. Rather romantic notion.
Yeah. But I'm saying, what's he doing keeping Shabbos? What's he doing putting on tefillin? What's his relationship with the Jews, which is throughout the Torah before it's all even begun? What was he doing? What was it all beforehand to him?
Well, let's use Shabbos as an example. He created the world in the 6 days and he rested on the seventh. So the seventh day is special to him. I understand that. Why does he want me to keep Shabbos? I didn't create the world in 6 days. So why doesn't he just go and observe his Shabbos, and I'll do my thing while he does his thing?
But I'm saying, what would Shabbos even have been? Sorry to cut you off on the train of thought, but what would Shabbos have meant to him before he's even had the 6 days of creation?
There's a part of him that is creator, and then there's a part of him that is beyond creation. So on Shabbos, he celebrates the part of himself that is beyond creation, done with creation. So in different words, there's more to God than creator. So when he finishes creating the world, he's not done. And there's the other side to him. Not the creator, but the king. So the question is, that's all fine for him. Where do I fit in? What's it to me? So God says, keep my Shabbos. My Shabbos. In other words, yes, it's my celebration. I'm resting. But when I'm resting, rest with me. Let's not become strangers. I create during the 6 days. You create during the 6 days. Sheishis yomim ta'avod. Create. When I'm creating, you should be creating. When I'm resting, you should be resting. Why? So that we're on the same page. It's almost like when I'm crying, you should cry too. Then you have Tisha B'Av. So why am I crying? It's not my house that burnt down. It's his house. So if he's crying, I understand. What do you want me to cry for? Why, you're going to let me cry by myself? And you call this a relationship? That is the principle known as imitating God. But it's more than imitating. It's empathizing. When he's happy, I'm happy. When he's sad, I'm sad. When he's active, I'm active. When he's resting, I'm resting. So it's like saying, God would rest on Shabbos whether we rest or not. But God is telling us that when he is sitting at his Shabbos table and we don't join him, it ruins it. When your kid doesn't join you at the Shabbos table, that's a strong statement that your child is not very invested in this relationship. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it.